Your family's financial future is depending on you. But what are you going to do about it? Building generational wealth is not something that happens overnight. And to create a financial foundation that's going to help you achieve it, you're going to have to do something that you've never done before. Abandon everything you thought you knew about money and wealth building. So why is this necessary? And more importantly, why is this something that should worry individuals who are solely relying on their 9 to 5 to provide for the family? To answer that, I need to ask you this. Do you ever worry that you're never going to be financially free? Or in a worst case scenario, you're never going to figure out how to stop living paycheck to paycheck? It's really easy to think that you're never going to get out of the rat race because after all, making money is hard. But studies have shown that if you implement these simple steps, then you're going to be on your way to building generational wealth in no time. And that brings me back to your financial future. After you account for inflation, taxes, and typical housing and car payments, most Americans are barely able to make ends meet. So how are you ever going to become financially fit? Well, you need to stop thinking about your current financial situation as an impossible task to conquer and start building the foundation for your family's financial future. And in doing so, you're going to sidestep a massive financial risk that most Americans don't even think about. But I'll come back to that later. So why are most Americans stuck living paycheck to paycheck? And why is establishing your financial foundation going to allow you to build generational wealth? Well, despite all the things working against your goal of building generational wealth, there are simple steps you can take right now to become your family's first millionaire. The first of which is the initial meeting. This is the point where you invite all of your family members to discuss your current financial situation. You're going to need everyone to come to this meeting prepared with the following items: current income, current expenses, current assets, current liabilities, and current credit score. This is the most important step to building generational wealth because this will give you a good sense of where everyone stands individually and where the family stands as a whole financially. As the old saying goes, a race of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, but most Americans can't even find the starting line. The initial meeting will help you identify your family's current strengths and weaknesses and let you know exactly what you need to work on to start to build generational wealth and eventually escape the rat race. Now that you have your starting point mapped out, let's take a look at the foundation that you're going to need to establish to make financial freedom a reality. And that brings us to the plan. After the initial meeting, you're going to have everything you need to start building your financial foundation, and you're going to know exactly what you need to work on along the way. But to ensure you're successful with completing the plan, here's what you're going to need to accomplish. Start out by building a relationship with the local trust and estates attorney. This is the resource you're going to use to establish your family trust. But what's a family trust and why do you need one? A family trust is something that the wealthy use to manage and protect their assets. You can think about it as your family company, a company that makes it super easy to manage all of your assets in one place and makes it even easier to pass these assets to the next generation when the time comes. Now, once the trust is established, you're going to open up a checking account, savings account, and brokerage account, all in the name of the family trust. But in order to make sure your family trust is properly funded and growing, you're going to need to set up monthly or bi-monthly contributions into the family trust checking account from everyone in the family. And this is why the initial meeting is so important. Since you've already mapped out everyone's income and expenses, you should have a good sense of what everyone's leftover take-home pay is on a month-to-month basis. Based on what everyone can comfortably afford on a month-to-month basis, set up monthly or bi-monthly deposits from your personal checking accounts into the family trust checking account. And yes, this is the point where you can brag to your friends that you have a family trust fund set up, but we're not done yet. In order to build generational wealth, your money needs to be working for you at all times. And in order to accomplish this, you need to make sure that the money that you're contributing into your family trust checking account is either used to save or invest on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. This is what's going to take your wealth building journey to the next level. Now, if you've gotten this far, I want you to realize that 99% of Americans will never be able to build generational wealth. But since you're here, I know for a fact that you're serious about becoming financially independent. But it doesn't stop here. The quarterly meeting is where you're going to be able to put everything together to ensure your goal of building generational wealth is successful no matter what. As we discussed before, your family trust is like your family company. And what do all successful companies have in common? They have a quarterly meeting to discuss the progress from last quarter, the goals for the next quarter, and also discuss any investment opportunities that the family company should explore moving forward. Now, staying on top of your family's quarterly meeting will not be easy, but you're going to need to do this to ensure that you're staying on track with your goals, and also it's going to be a great way to measure your progress throughout the years. But now that you know exactly what it takes to start building generational wealth and creating a better life for your children and grandchildren, my question for you is, what's stopping you from starting? Take the first step by subscribing to the channel to make sure you're updated on everything we drop to increase your financial literacy and eventually become financially fit.